Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Stationeers. So, quick recap of last episode. We started laying out the heating and cooling networks, or rather, really just the heaters at this point. And what I'm going to do is crank out a little bit more blue paint so that we can start painting it accordingly. So let's go spray paint blue. And that will allow us to paint the battery and the heaters all the proper blue colors. And then also I want to print up 2 more sensors. So the reason behind these sensors, each floor I want to have their own independent heating and cooling. The reason for it is each floor will have its own sort of network. What I mean by that is some floors are going to require a lot more cooling than other floors, and I don't want there to just be one sensor dictating the needs of all floors. Another thing I need to have to decide is where these sensors are going to go. So here's the thing. The closer the sensor is to the heaters and coolers, how to explain this? If I have the sensor right next to the heater or the cooler, it's going to make fine-tuned adjustments that don't necessarily ripple out to the rest of the base, right? Because the air in, if I put the, let's say the sensor right next to the heater, the air in this individual cell, when the heater is on, will warm up, but this individual cell will be slightly warmer than like a cell back here, right? This corner here will be a cold spot. So what I need to do is I need to set up my sensors that sense the temperature of the rooms in a sort of neutral location, equidistant between heaters and coolers, sort of in the center of everything. It's a little bit of a challenge. It doesn't sound all that challenging, but it's one of these things that if you get wrong, you end up with a heating and cooling network that doesn't really do its job. It's not properly heating and cooling. It's making micro adjustments for the wrong areas. So I think the best spot for this would be sort of far away, as you can see from the... I'll probably put the coolers right next to the heaters. So sort of far away from the heaters and coolers, sort of in the middle of the room, because the middle of the room will get sort of the right temperature, more or less. It might not be perfect. I might have to tweak it. But that is, I think, the solution I'm going to go with. Let's go ahead and eat some fries, leaving 1% of the fries left. 1% of fries is like the crumbs on the bottom of the bag. I don't know how full that's going to make me. So I do have a partial can of blue paint, so let's use that up before we go with the new can that I just made. I did have a tip here. So 2 tips. LTL King mentioned that the soy oil problem that I mentioned was a rounding error. So it rounds to a whole number, and the larger, if you have more than a certain amount of it, it will round up. So it's good to stack that high. And then the other tip was from Mr. Awesome, saying that this battery could be assigned for heating and cooling because it's sort of in the right spot already in the corner, and that's a pretty fair point. So I'm going to switch what battery it runs off of. Okay, which means A, putting away my steel frames, and B, clipping this. And plugging it back in. Alright, so now we have the battery. I haven't labeled anything yet, but that will come in a bit. Alright, so the next thing, to do some more painting of my heaters. And then we'll have to install some coolers. And then I have to decide where all of the coolers, how they will run, etc., etc. But as you can see, these turn on, they draw from the battery. Although at my current, because they're in vacuum, they're not actually going to draw from anything. Alright, putting the extra paint away. I haven't used my night vision goggles in, like, forever, so I'll put them away. I'm just trying to free up some space. My data discs. It's good to keep duct tape and the medical pill on you for emergencies. Okay. Now I'm going to set up the gas sensors. So, there is a little bit of extra complication due to the fact that I have high energy requiring heaters, and I'll explain this in just a moment once I set down the gas sensors. So this floor's gas sensor will mimic the one before it. But the only problem here is the top floor's gas sensor is going to have to... Well, it can't go on the ceiling, because the ceiling, of course, is the top of our solar. So I have to decide, like, a good spot for it. Now, what I could do is replace this ceiling here. I'll probably not have plants right in this cell here, because it's right in front of the door. So that might be a good spot for it anyway. So what I'm going to do is remove this glass ceiling and repurpose it with some other wall kit type. So it won't be 100% glassed up top, but that allows me to have some sort of, allows me to have the layout of the sensors mimic each floor exactly. So they work at the same rough efficiency. The bottom floor is a little bit more voluminous than the floors above it. So it's not perfect, but it will be close enough for my purposes. Because I didn't want to put the sensor on the ground. And then this will also allow things like lights on the top floor. In fact, I might end up replacing this ceiling section with frame as well. Or eventually wall, but it will look like frame for now. And the reason is, right when you walk into the building, you're probably, like right when you walk into the hydroponics level, you're not going to want plants planted at the literal exit of the elevator. That would not make really any sense at all. And you're probably not going to want plants here. They'll be planted in probably a U shape around. Okay. So now we have our gas sensors. So what I was referencing before is that because of all these heaters being on heavy cable networks, I don't want my entire heating and cooling systems to be on heavy cables, because that would be... I could afford it, but that would just sort of be messy, sloppy. So what I'm going to do is probably when I want these turned on and off, I'll have a batch writer, which its data output will be on heavy cable network, but everything else will be on regular cables. And that way I can have my blue here, the heating and cooling, be both heavy and light cables, so I don't have to have like mass heavy cables everywhere, which is sort of gross. Looks to me like, where did that heavy battery, that better battery went? I'm gonna take that small battery, sorry. And I think I have a large battery in here somewhere. I just want to charge my suit. And right now I can't make another nuclear battery because my computer that runs my manufacturing is being repurposed for IC. So what am I looking for here? I am looking for a crowbar, and I think I put this in vitals. Nope. Atmo. Where is this heavy my other large battery? There are some in my drills, I guess. It shouldn't be up there because I removed everything from up there. Alright. Well, let's see. I can make a large battery here. I should probably get 2 nuclear batteries. Part of me is like, just do it. Okay, I'm just gonna do it. So, the reason I want 2 nuclear batteries is so that when I'm so I can hot swap between 2 really, really good batteries and not have to worry about that. And I can always put this this computer back at any time. It's not all that important. Plus, I could program the chip from over here. Alright, so nuclear battery, here we come. In fact, I might even want 2 of them. So, I need 40 electrum. Do I even have... Oh, yeah, I do. What else do I need? Invar, Constantin, solder. Solder. Constantin. I probably don't have all the materials for both. I don't have enough Invar for both. Oh, no. Invar is only 10 per. Electrum's 20 per. Okay. I can make 2 nuclear batteries. That's going to drain the absolute crap out of this kit battery here, but you know what? I don't really care. My farm will be okay. I can always turn off the battery charger if it does get excessive. All right, fabs off. Actually, computer off. Fab on. Kick out my materials. All right, so now I have 2 nuclear batteries charging up. That's gonna be a bit of a drain on my network here, a little bit. But you know what? What else is it for? Alright, and I am also running low on all of these other materials. I have a decent amount of Constantin, but Invar and solder and electrum are a little lower. Alright, so the fab's off and closed. What do I want to do next? The next thing... before I go too much further, is to label batteries properly. Alright, so this will be the HVAC battery. It's not really, it doesn't really do ventilation. That's sort of the atmospherics, but it's HAC battery. The V is, so I'll just have it hack battery. And then, these wall heaters need to be set. So this is east, west, north. So this is north heater 1, north. So N second wall heater. S second wall heater. So this is south second floor wall heater, north second floor wall heater. I know it's kind of cryptic. I'll just write it out. North second floor, or 2 floor. I'll just have 2 floor wall heater. Alright, this is a little less cryptic. South 2 floor wall heater. South 3 floor wall heater. And this is so when I have them all in IC Logic, they're easier to determine. If I could type. Wow, that was a lot of fat fingering. Alright. Now the wall heaters are all set up. The next obvious thing to do would be to set up the battery monitoring logic, which is 2 LEDs. You know the drill. A chip, a housing. It does take a little bit of power, but the interesting thing is I'll have to be able to separate the... Oh, actually, separating the power out won't be that bad. So what we're going to do before... let me print up those things here. And then we'll get them laid out. So this is a transformer. And an APC. And a small battery. Power controller. And this takes solder. I still have enough solder for this. And I'll just start stuffing this into my backpacks. What else? Battery small. This takes a little bit longer. Oh, you know what? Here's the battery. My large battery was in my my backpack all along. Actually, truth be told, it does not look like I'm draining that bad. The battery charger here has a limited amount that it can draw. Oh, hold on. Don't make too many of those. So the nuclear batteries are going to take a very, very long time to charge up, but it won't drain out my kit there and screw up the farm. In fact, well, we don't need to charge that right now. What else do we need here? Integrated circuit chip, which is steel and electrum. Again, my steel and electrum. Well, steel I have plenty of, but the electrum is running a little bit low. I'm going to need to program it, so let's take the manufacturing board out of the computer and slap it in and swap it with the IC editor. Yep. That's not wire cutters. Okay. I'm just organizing a little bit. Okay, there's the IC chip. And now we need the housing. IC housing. Done and done. I don't know if... Oh, is this the program here? Perfect. Edit. Is this the correct program? It does appear to be. Copy. Library. Bat. Paste. Done. Now I have it in the library so that I can't lose it. It'd be very bad if I just, like, lost the code I wrote. You could import it from another chip, but it'd be kind of a pain. For now, that might be all I need. So, IC housing, let's go ahead and wire that up. Oh, I'm actually going to need those, and I'm going to need these. Oh, you know what? This doesn't need to be junction. Why am I trying to connect to the fabricator? I don't need to do that at all. There we go. Now we just need to code it. I also need to look up what blue is. I don't know what color code blue is off the top of my head. So let's see. Data codes. Someone posted the link in my Discord, so let's find color. Data network colors. There it is. Blue happens to be 0. Oh, that's easy. Alright, so let's go to this here. Edit it. Color set to 0. Confirm. Export. Now this circuit here has the program in it. And next up we are going to take the housing, take the circuit, and bring it over to our beautiful network over here. Oh, I do need 2 LEDs, don't I? Two kit consoles. It's weird that LEDs are like consoles. That's not how I think of them. But of course, you can change that from console monitors to LEDs. I don't know. Consoles to me is like something that can take data. I guess LEDs can take data. I don't know what I'm talking about. There we go. Go battery go. So I have 3 nuclear batteries charging. As you can see, yeah, it's taking a little bit of a toll on the kit battery there. But if that gets any lower, I can always turn off the bat charger. So No stress yet about that. So, the data ports, so far, I've put on the bottom. Let's continue that trend. Then, I have my APC right where this heavy cable is, so we're going to have to reroute this heavy cable a little bit. I may have referenced that already. But I did say that that was sort of in the way. So I'm rerouting it a lot. I have no idea what this last battery is. Maybe the lounge battery or something. And the lounge is just going to be this area right here. It's going to include like microwaves and a little lab and stuff like that. It's going to be pretty simple. So this heavy cable here is really obnoxious. Let's move it. I laid this out sort of temporarily, and I knew I was probably going to tear it all up. That's what I do. I'm enthusiastic about building, and then I realize, oh, my building sucks. It's like Legos. Anyone that has played with Legos, you know, your first attempt at something that looks nice in Legos usually is actually, in hindsight, quite ugly, and you just have to keep changing it until you're satisfied. Or until you realize you're just bad at Legos. Alright, so the power output here is actually going to be a corner. Keep it nice and tidy. And before I lay anything else down, let's lay the APC and the transformer. So, is it that low? Yeah, I guess it is that low. So the APC and transformer here is going to be a little bit different because not all the power is going to go through the APC and transformer. Some will skip. What will skip will be, of course, the heaters. So the heaters, if I want to control them, I need to connect my batch writer that controls them to the heavy data network, and then keep everything else on the light data network. The coolers don't take as much power as heaters. No, it kind of looks nice though. All right, so this here will connect up like that. Get a little three-way junction action and a little corner. And again, I might move this if I need to allow for this battery, this lounge battery, to not be obstructed. I can always tweak that around. Alright, so to make sure this works, and why wouldn't it, we can slap these on. Yes, I could hypothetically use a large transformer, but there's no way I'm ever going to draw enough power to blow out heavy cables from the large transformer here, which is why I didn't bother with that at all. Alright, opening up the panel to slap in the small battery that we had here. And you know what? That's kind of upside down, and that's going to kind of bother me, like always. So let me fix that real quick. Alright, area power controller. Usually the button is on the bottom here. Jetpack's acting a little weird. I don't like that. Oop, there we go. Like that. Is that right side up now? I don't know. We'll see in a second. No, that's not what I meant to do. Yes. That looks better.
Jetpack on.
Sometimes your jetpack does this. I'm gonna take my jetpack off and put it back on.
Jetpack on.
Where it doesn't jetpack to maintain. It should be the stabilizer here. I have enough propellant. Oh, I just turned off. Okay, I cycled the stabilizer off somehow. So now, yeah, we are properly jetpacking. Okay, we can turn this on, and this, of course, I guess what we need to do is label these as well. So this is HAC, area power controller. That's matches the scheme over here, right? Atmo, yeah. And then HAC transformer. Yep, cool. That's all nicely labeled. Then I need to name these. I'll just copy and paste. Copy and paste. HAC, power usage LED, and HAC battery LED. Neat. Alright, that's all squared away. Everything is nicely labeled. This battery small. Why is that not charging? Oh. Is that... then another thing to label, to label the amount of power that this gets. Let's see. 4990, that was, yep, that looks right. Yeah. Okay. So far, so good. I am a little curious why that light battery is not charging right now. Because everything should be... Is this backwards? This must be backwards. That would be the only explanation. I plugged this in backwards. Man, I am not a very good electrician, am I? Alright, so... Yes, that was backwards. Fourth time's a charm? Oh boy. Not looking good for me, huh? There we go. Now it's charging up. I was like, small batteries don't take very long to charge. So what's going on here? And then this transformer... This is the output, right? Oh my god. I'm having like a senior moment here. Yeah, area power control output. Cool. Transformer, and nothing's on because it doesn't lead to anything. So I think it just is set up to be off like that. Next up, we do have a lack of real estate here. So I'm going to put the IC housing for this one here. So that the other battery's IC housing can be more underneath it, like that. Slap our chip in. And then what we're going to need to do is paint our red cables the beautiful blue that really honestly looks purple to me. There also is... Okay, so the bottom floor heavy cables aren't connected to anything. I could fix that. We want probably a three-way corner. And then... we want to hook up to this. Like this. Alright, so these heaters now are able to turn on and off. And make sure I didn't cut the top power. I don't think I have. Oh, maybe I have. The top power here ends right there, doesn't it? So when I say I don't think I have, I mean absolutely I already have. Okay, so now everything's plugged back in. Yes, yes. Okay, cool. Next up, we want to hook up at least the IC logic to the housing here. So I have painted these cables blue. What I need to do is run these cables. I'll probably do a junction here. I don't know what else they'll connect to. So actually maybe I won't junction yet. And I want to run this cable back, and it's going to look sloppy. I know it. And maybe I'll clean it up at some point. But I'm going to run these cables back to the battery to pick up the data port from the battery, which I need for the IC logic stuff. And then plug it into the housing. Alright, so this battery needs to be connected like that. Let me get my wire cutters. Not the prettiest wiring job. I would not hire me to fix your house, but it would work. It would just look sloppy. Actually, that's not that bad. It could be worse. Okay, the next up is to... Also, it needs to connect to these LEDs. And I labeled the LEDs already. The only other problem is, of course, the heavy cable runs back there, so I have to avoid that. How did I do that over here? Oh, I just, like, ran it along the ceiling or walls. So I'm going to have to do that for that last network. Okay, this cable goes down. Base is getting a little claustrophobic. I don't like putting things in the corner of frames, but you know what? It's fine. Alright, so now these LEDs should be able to turn on and show a big old zeros. If I could click. There we go. Let's see. Next up, to make sure that our IC stuff connects to it with screwdrivers. So, power usage, battery LED, and battery. Yep. And then if we flick this on, it should work. There's no errors. And that all looks about right. First try. Go me. And to know that it is... I need to plug something in that draws power to make sure that the datas are right. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're correct, but it wouldn't hurt to add a little light, right? LIGHT. And that way I know the data's... I mean, I could also use my data analyzer. I could do it either way, but... Alright, let's drop a little wall light in here, and that will be the confirmation I need that this is all wired up correctly, and maybe I'll use the data analyzer as well. So I turn this on, power usage goes up, turn that off, power usage goes down. That is a very simple way of making sure everything works. Okay. If I could, of course, leave permanent batteries in here, but this would be on the lounge network, not on the... it would not be on the HAC network, because this floor is the lounge. So this light would have to plug into this battery, and I haven't set that up yet. So now that we have all that set up, I haven't done the logic that controls the heaters yet, and I have to probably... what I'll end up doing, so I don't troubleshoot that on camera, is I'll write that logic and then explain it. But I also need to do the air conditioning as well. But I am just about out of time, so next episode will be logic and air conditioning. The logic is going to be a little weird because we can't really troubleshoot it until we have the base pressurized, so it's just going to be hypothetical logic. It's not that challenging. All it will be is like, if temperature is lower than X, you know, heat the base. If temperature is higher than Y, cool the base. It's not that hard. The only complications is the fact that I have things running on heavy and light cable networks. If you have any feedback for me, questions of any type, or just, you know, suggestions about things to do in the series, drop me a line. And I do hope that you tune in next time. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll catch you all later. Adios.